Well, hello, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter. I did it again, man. Called it Twitter. Um, my name is Frank Lavinia, and it is most definitely a Monday. Today is, at least in the U.S., is the last week was the Thanksgiving holiday. I think I streamed shortly before that. Hopefully, you had a great holiday. If you didn't, hopefully you had a great Thursday and Friday. But I just want to do a quick live stream today to kind of talk about some things that are going on. Obviously, reInvent is starting. I think tomorrow or today. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not going this year because of various personal commitments that I got going on. If you've been watching the live stream or listening to the podcast datadriven.tv, you all know that I've added to the family, and uh, there's definitely there's certain more members of the family, and this is just not a good year to go to the conference. Um, I will, however, be watching very eagerly from home base here in Maryland and kind of seeing what's going on. It was maybe I'll go next year. Who knows? This year, I'm particularly excited because they're going to have a very um, um, generative AI focus, which naturally, because I mean that's kind of taking all the air out of the room. um, with the regards to kind of what we're doing in AI, it's definitely taken over. I mean, um, hopefully you were able to get some shopping done. Hopefully you got some good deals. I got a tremendous deal on this bad boy. This is it's not a Wacom, but it's basically another. I think the company is Huon. It's a tablet, writing tablet, so I can hopefully draw better diagrams and such because it replaces this one, um, which I'm gonna probably put on another computer. Lord knows I have enough computers. Um, and Yeah, so with that, I'm really looking forward to that because apparently I know that they've readjusted a lot of the content to be focused on generative AI. Probably going to hear a lot about Bedrock, Party Rock, all that sort of thing. It'll definitely be interesting to kind of see what happens with that. As for you know, scheduling the event right after Thanksgiving, I mean it's always sold out the conference, so I guess they know what they're doing, but it is what it is. Speaking of Thanksgiving, we had a great time. I got to introduce our new little guy to a lot of members of the family. He saw some other cousins, um, and lots of good stuff in that regard. And was doing some cleanup of the office. Although if you look at the desk, you really wouldn't know it. If you go here, I found this little gem. Um, this little gem here, I had hanging up in my old office, and we're still unpacking from the move near year and a half later. um and I am going to place this in a place of honor on that back wall there, because one, it's clearly a that's a good thumbnail. Like, you ever notice how the YouTube thumbnails, they always have somebody looking like was shocked, or like they photoshop like a celebrity like screaming or crying. Like, maybe this will be the thumbnail, like so much for a professional look on LinkedIn. Um, but interesting is that this was printed on September 15th, 1998. It's actually aged pretty well. I probably should be touching it with my hands, but I'm going to frame this and hang this up. And for two reasons. One, it shows that the hype machine in the technology industry is nothing new. And two, disasters happen, but the disasters that we see coming necessarily are overhyped. Um, and then two, it's also the Y2K bug was, I think, a very successful implementation of fixing the problem. And because there was no major outage, there was no major disaster, things were relatively calm, relatively sane. Um, and that a lot of people who are not technical would say, "Oh, that was a big waste of time." I'm like, "No, that's what you wanted, right? All this money, all this effort to fix Y2K, and nothing happened proves that it worked, right?" Which I goes to show you that I suppose that engineering well done is rarely appreciated. With that in mind, I want to tell you, share this. I don't get any money from this, right? I just think this is a good Lev. Is a guy we spoke about in the last stream. He has a really good YouTube channel where he talks about some of the latest happenings. And this is a free course from deeplearning.ai on vector databases. I think that the vector databases are going to be a very critical skill because everyone thinks about the AI, everyone thinks about the LLM, but in reality, a lot of the infrastructure underneath it is going to manifest itself in some form of a vector database. I am curious, and I'm not well up to date read on what AWS's offerings in this space are, but I think it's fascinating um, the potential that this has. Somebody at work actually put together something that uses Redis cache as a vector database, which I said, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that in Redis cache." And he's like, "That's just key value pairs ultimately, or a tuple of tuples." Um, so it's definitely I'm very curious to dive deep into that and get my feet wet in that world because I think that's going to be a you know um, an interesting take on this situation, or at least the interesting infrastructure, right? Because every LLM, well, if not every, but a lot of LLMs are going to require some kind of backend, some backend data store. It's more than likely going to be a vector database. And I am curious as to what Microsoft's answer in this space is. AWS is probably going to, if they haven't already announced something, they're probably going to announce it this week. Again, I have no inside knowledge on that. I did have inside knowledge because I'm an AI MVP with Microsoft about what they were going to announce at Ignite, but I didn't talk about it because I was afraid I'd leak something accidentally. Because having 50% more children than I did before does kind of mess with your short-term memory and things like that. But again, it's all a blessing. It's all joy. I'm very thankful for everything that has happened this year, um, in spite of the bad stuff. Maybe even because of the bad stuff. So with that in mind, that was interesting. I am still waiting on the sessions from the Red Hat Government Symposium to be posted online. I'm actually going to check very shortly, see if they are. But I wanted to go live before the eldest of my sons comes home, and and then all the dogs go crazy and it gets loud, things like that. We are also going to release some live stream videos and things like that. I can talk to Andy. Actually, I have to talk to Andy today anyway about some other things because I had an interesting planning call with a podcasting company today. Very interesting stuff. Basically, I need to get better at the podcasting craft, like the art and craft of it. And I was talking to the person I spoke to today. I was like, "Yeah, any advice on that?" Like, I mean, and she said something very profound. It was like everybody's struggling with some aspect of podcast production, right? Obviously, I've got a lot of the automated stuff kind of done. I can kind of repurpose a lot of the content, things like that. But there's things that I want to improve on, and that is something I plan to do for 2024 is kind of get this going as a well-oiled machine. And I will always repeat my plea. If anyone out there within the sound of my voice has any clue on how to fix Microsoft bookings or make it do what I want it to do, please reach out, comments below, or if you're watching this on LinkedIn, private message me. If you're watching this on X, private message me. Not really on Twitch. I can't remember the last time I logged in on purpose to Twitch. Not because I just, it's a setting here. I don't watch a lot of game streams or anything like that. But yeah. But there's more than just game streams I know on Twitch. But ultimately, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. Thanksgiving is a good time to reflect. This is already my very pensive time of year to begin with, and kind of figure out what next year is going to be about. So, with that in mind, I'm probably going to sign off in a minute or two, but I just wanted to to once again encourage people to look at this vector database, because there's things, free course from Deep Learning AI. Again, I don't make any money off of what they sell, what they do. Nope, I don't know who makes. Somebody does. But I really like their learning environment where they have the video and the Jupyter Notebook and the course online. Like it is the future, I think, of online learning, because you can kind of see the lecture, replay parts of the lecture, as well as experiment in real time with code. And that's it for me. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. Let me know in the comments below if you had a good one or a bad one. You'll get my sympathy. But it's been an interesting year, and I'll be online later, possibly. I got some stuff I got to figure out. I got expense reports I got to do, all the kind of the fun stuff, the fun adulting stuff. And big shout out to everyone out there. Thank you for data-driven listeners. And with that, I want to wish you a happy Monday. Straight from Frank's World.